Good evening, everybody. Some hard news for today. It is Halloween, but not great. Kiev City has been under air alert for 32 minutes. The Oblast has been on air alert for 7 hours and 35 minutes. Zhytomyr has been on air alert for 6 hours, 6 minutes. Klemensky for 25 minutes. Sumy for 24 minutes. Kharkiv for 28 minutes. And Donetsk for 4 minutes. So a lot of new air alerts popping up. I'm expecting to see this start stretching towards the west. Going right into the update for 10 p.m. yesterday. Again, yesterday for Ukraine is actually today. But this is the last 10 p.m. update for October 30th. To date, 134 combat clashes have taken place. The situation remained the hottest in Kharkiv and Pokrovsk directions. Hey, Blonde, Andrew, K-Bell, good to see you guys here. Today, the enemy launched 1 missile and 58 airstrikes on the territory of Ukraine, using 1 missile and 68 glide bombs. They used 663 kamikaze drones and carried out more than 3,800 artillery strikes on the positions of our troops. Drones jump back up, the airstrikes are going down, but the artillery strikes are going up too. So, still a lot of metal being thrown in Ukraine. In the Kharkiv direction, the enemy attacked once near Voschansk. In addition, the occupiers actively used aviation in this direction. In particular, the areas of Mali Pohodi, Kudivka, Kozacha Lopan were subject to bombing. Couple of those towns I have not heard of before, so come up here to Voschansk. See if I could spot those towns offhand. Mali Pakodi, Kudivka. What was the other one? Kozacha Lopan. I don't see it offhand. So looking at here, and here were bombed with aerial bombardments. So maybe prepping for strikes for advancements in this area. Don't know. We'll find out in the coming days. In the direction of Kupiansk, the enemy tried 20 times during the day to advance on our positions near Savinka, Novoosinoiva, Koloniskova, Peroshravnevi, Peshani, Kruglivka, Zelenige, Vishnevoy, Bohushlavka, Petropavlivka, Lozova, Zagruboy. Ooh. Currently, 2 combat clashes are ongoing. I recognize some of these towns. It's pretty spread out for the Kupiansk area. Start with the north. This is pretty stable. They like their position along this riverbed. Petropavlivka, Peshkani, Koloniskova, Zahirozori, Zova, Vishnimi, basically this entire area. They're trying to make the advance and reach the Oskil River. As you can see, the number of attacks is increasing. In the Lamansky direction, the invading army attacked 11 times in the areas of Katernivka, Grivika, Terniviv, Secharny, Druzhelubivka, and Sobransk Forest. One battle is still ongoing. Our soldiers have stopped the rest. The forest they're talking about is this forest here. Zarinchny. Oh, excuse me 1 second. Oh, that never fails. You have to sneeze until you grab a tissue, and then you don't have to sneeze anymore. Katerinivka, Novolubivka, basically all along this area here. Small increase in attacks, but so far doing okay in that area. In the Severus direction, the enemy tried twice during the day to break through the defenses. Oh, they're giving me a hard one on this one. Virkino-Kamansky and Bilogorivka settlements. In the Kramatorsk direction, the enemy activity accumulated in one combat encounter near Chasov Yar. In the Serbis direction, Bilohorivka, and then Vrkno-Kamansky. I'm not getting that pronunciation right, I can tell you that right now, but that's the areas they're talking about the attacks happening. And then the attack towards Chasov Yar. There were no attacks in the Tourette's direction, but the enemy launched an airstrike with unguided missiles in the village of Druzkaba, which is that's a new town name for me, and I don't see it offhand. Oh, so here in this area. So it's still a rough fight in this town. Ukraine's holding on strong. Unfortunately, we're about to come to an area that I don't really want to look at today. The enemy tried 26 times to penetrate our defenses in the Prokrast direction. Since the beginning of the day, the occupiers attacked Mirolipivka, Promin, Mirnograd, Lysivki, Sukharayar, Novogorivka, Vishnevy, Krytyvyar, and Seladov these attacks have been strongly repulsed by our defenders 22 times. 4 attacks have been ongoing so far. The enemy will suffer significant losses, and according to preliminary information, today our soldiers neutralized more than 220 invaders in this direction, 115 of them irreversibly. 2 tanks, 1 artillery system, and 2 automobiles, along with 1 UAV, were destroyed. One automobile and 2 armored combat vehicles and 1 one artillery system were also damaged. The reason I said I don't want to look at this area today, because it's, according to Deep State, this is not good news from this area. See the movement around Seladov, out towards Zoria, and well, you'll see the moving towards Kharkiv. But yeah, they're trying to push to the south of the town along this rail line to get south of Pokrovsk and then push north. In the Kharkiv direction, the enemy attacked our positions near Novoseladivka, Novodomivka, Ilinka, Maximilianivka, Grostroy, Elizabethivka, okay. Delaney, Antonivka, Kharkivka, Kremena Balka, Zosnezhnka, Katerinivka, and currently Ukrainian soldiers have repelled 26 of the attacks. 13 are ongoing for a total of 39 attacks in this direction. Zoom in here and show you the last update. So, Herniki is, according to Deep State, is completely overrun. And then in the last day, Zoreni completely overrun. Kharkivka is halfway occupied. Complete, a lot of areas going red on the Deep State map today, and I don't like seeing it. But again, take it with a grain of salt, because maps are never accurate. Russia is claiming that they took over the entire town of Kharkivka, and Ukrainians are saying they're still fighting ongoing there. Maximilianivka is right here. Katerinivka, Antonivka, Zora is here. I don't see the other towns that they mentioned, but Novoseladivka, still pretty intense fighting going on here. And don't confuse Kharkivka with Kharkova. You'll see in a news report later that I want to show you that they mixed up these 2 towns. And they're saying that this town is occupied when, we'll show you that later. In the Vermits direction, our troops repelled enemy attacks near Bogoyavlinka, Maximilianivka, and Novoukrayinka. 5 attacks were repelled, 1 is ongoing. And this is a new name for a direction I do not recognize. So let's look at Vermits and then come back to this new area. I'm going to talk about Vermits. The smaller town name is the name they're using for this area. And Novoukrayinka, Maximivka and Bogalinka. Okay. Again, their attacks are in this area. And let's see if I can find Gulyapil or Sharvini. In the Gulyapil, the enemy made one futile attempt to push our defenders from the occupied lines near the settlement of Sharvini. The situation is under control. Let's see if we can locate such a name. No, because we're over here in Orchiv. It has to be in here somewhere, and it's just not a name I am seeing. There's Shavoni. Oh, Juliopol. Okay. So this is the direction they're talking about, and the attack goes in this area. Orchiv direction, the aggressor carried out airstrikes on the settlement of Malatokmaka, Brazhinka, with a total of 14 aerial bombs were used. Orchiv, Malatomaka, and see if I could find that other name. Yeah, I'm not seeing that other town name. Oh, okay. So it's a suburb of Orchiv right here to the north of Orchiv. So again, right along the road line that Russia would like to have control of. No mention of the Dnieper direction. The Defense Forces of Ukraine continue to conduct operations in Kursk. So far, 19 strikes by 20 Russian guided aerial bombs have been carried out on its territory. Today, the soldiers of the 141st Separate Infantry Brigade and the 126th Separate Territorial Defense Brigade should be commended for their effective and professional combat work. They inflicted significant enemy losses in both manpower and equipment. Glory to Ukrainian soldiers, glory to Ukraine, and of course, Heroam Slava. Yeah, they are doing some changes in the names back to Ukrainian, but they are also fixing the Latinization of the names as well. Like a lot, the H in Ukrainian is more of a G sound, so it's more like, this is probably the proper Latinized spelling. But then you see here it's an H with a, making it sound like Juliopol when it should be Guliopol. And there's a lot of little updates like that. So one map to the next, the name of the town changes. Report to report, the name of the town changes, and especially with the Latinized spelling. So it can make it hard sometimes for someone on the outside to find a town they're talking about. So yeah, there's a couple difficulties there. Let's pull up Zelensky's speech. And I'm hoping he did a short speech today because I know he did a long one. And it just looks like they're covering the long speech. So I'll just touch on that with reading the first part of it. The North Korean military will be pushed forward. There are more of them than Russians. Of course, these people will die. We will do what they... Okay, that sentence doesn't make sense in my brain. We will do what they do with the enemy, protect our lives by destroying the enemy. In an interview with South Korean TV channel KBS, Zelensky shared his thoughts about the danger posed by the involvement of the North Korean military, not only for Ukraine, and why it's important to resist it together. And it goes through, just for everybody later. If you want to pause and read all that, here's the next part. And of course, pause and read that. The next part, you can pause and read that. Next part, and the next part. You can see why I'm not reading all this. It's a very long translation, very long interview that he gave. Talking about the victory plan, Brazil, Africa, China. And finally, the last part. Russia has now concentrated about 45,000 people where there were no people, and this number will continue to increase. They lack their troops. They are also dragging North Korean soldiers there, and if they didn't want to restore their territorial integrity there, then why do they want to get North Korean military there, in addition to their troops? Because they don't have enough. We lack forces, the armed forces. This is exactly what's happening. What was their tactic for us? The opposite. They wanted to capture, destroy, kill our people in the north of our country near the city of Sumy. We did not give it to them. We took a preventive step. So I'm guessing they're talking about the Kirk situation. If you want to go through and read all that, of course, you can go back and pause. It's a lot. Hey there, Blue, Slow Evil, Ronnie Vacan, good to see you guys. Anybody else sneak in that I didn't catch? Keep an eye on the air alert map while I catch up on chat really quick. Oh, hey, Vladimir. Okay, so it looks like that's that news for so far. Actually, I wanted to go and do Blue's favorite part of the day. Russian casualties for the 31st of October. Oh, excuse me. 1,310 personnel losses, 19 tanks for today, 17 APVs, 58 artillery systems, 1 MLRS, 8 anti-aircraft warfare systems. That's good to see because that's going to make it easier for the F-16s to do the work they need to do. 84 UAVs. Nice work. 2 cruise missiles, 121 vehicles, and 3 special equipment today. So, pretty high numbers. A little lower than they've been like the last week or so, but 1,300 is still pretty high compared to the rest of the war. Zelensky, mass media, popular news, whatever you want to call it. Zelensky blasts allies for zero response to North Korean deployment. About 8,000 North Korean troops are at the Ukrainian border and are expected in combat in days. And the U.S. is starting to pressure China to stop North Korean troops from fighting for Russia. Just now, they're talking about the situation in Kherson, where the Russian drones hunt civilians in streets of southern Ukrainian city. They can't even put the name of the city in the title. Video of pensioners escape death as Russian rockets hit their home in Kherson. 2 civilians killed in Russian attacks in southern Ukraine city. They're just now talking about this, but it's been the case ever since Kherson was liberated. And no, I'm not going to use that other phrase for it. It diminishes what is really going on, in my opinion. You want to go on safari, you go out in a Jeep into like Africa and take pictures of lions, tigers, not bears. You take pictures of the wildlife. They're not taking pictures. They're using civilians as target practice and training for their drone operators. That is what Russia is doing, not a safari. Ukraine troops in Russia have advantage they haven't had in this war. Okay. Paywall. Hate paywalls. Chinese sanctions hit U.S. drone maker supplying Ukraine. So, I just want to briefly go over this one. Sky Duo, the U.S. largest, I'm going to rephrase that because that's just weird to say. The largest drone maker in the U.S. and a supplier to Ukraine's military faces a supply chain crisis after Beijing imposes sanctions on the company, including banning Chinese groups from providing it with critical components. So the largest drone maker in the U.S. is now sanctioned by China. And this line here says everything I really wanted to say about this. If there was ever any doubt, this action makes clear that the Chinese government will use supply chains as a weapon to advance their interests over ours, and ours meaning the United States. This is going to be the war with China. When I hate to say it, but when it comes. It's not if it comes. They're going to try and take Taiwan, or they're going to get mad because we're imposing restrictions on imports or something, and we're going to have a trade war with China. And here's the first step of them sanctioning a manufacturer in the U.S. to not supply batteries. And you'd be surprised how many things are made in the USA. But they get the parts from China. You're going to see this become a more common thing in the future. China's sanctions imposed on October 11th hit several U.S. groups, including Skydio. It is a retaliation for Washington's approval of the sale of attack drones to Taiwan. And that pretty much says it. Oh, they want Taiwan and we're going to sell them weapons. Well, we're not going to sell you drone parts. Oh, you're shipping food to Taiwan? Oh, we're not going to ship you blah, 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 blah. You know, that's basically what it's coming down to. Long story, you know, also kind of protecting DJI. Yeah, you know, Skydio or Duo or however that's supposed to be pronounced was the first U.S. drone to pass Ukrainian electronic warfare tests, meaning they're hard to jam, and that Kiev had requested thousands of them. And now that can't happen because China is sanctioning us. Fun, fun, fun. Uh-huh. Here's where I was talking about the mix-up of the names. Russia says it's captured the village of Kurylivka. Ukraine reports fighting in the village, or fighting in the area. Here's the mix-up. Medusa Media. Russian and Ukraine forces have begun the battle for Kurakova. Its fall will spell the end for the Ukrainians' defense of southern Donbass. Well, no, it's not Kurakova. It's Kurakivka. So, yeah, this is the quality of news reporting we get nowadays, that two towns next to each other with a similar name. Okay, I can see the mistake, but somebody should have checked this. You know, yeah, trying to circle Kurakov, well, it's the wrong city. You know, this is the information they're operating off of, which is kind of old information for a war. Probably a week ago, judging by the lines. And very Russia-sided because they're not this close to Savritsk. So yeah, I'm guessing they're using Russian maps. And probably purposely misusing the name if that's the case. Russian soldiers talking about being sent as a meat wave. Yeah, we all know that. American volunteers fighting in Ukraine share views on how election could affect the war. And that's about as much of the election as I'm going to mention. I'm already sick and tired of this freaking election. The leaker in Pentagon should get 17 years in jail. Okay. Wall Street Journal, so we're not going to be able to read this. Paywalls. I would like to hear more about that, but of course, Wall Street Journal wants you to pay to read an article, and then give you ads while you read that article. Don't mind watching the ads if I don't have to pay, but if I'm going to pay, I don't want ads. No double dipping on my clicking your website. The Economist, obviously Russian spin. Ukraine is now struggling to cling on, not to win. Yeah, Go suck an egg. Because, yeah, they're making gains. But, let me, right there's a decent size. So 10, 11 days ago. You see the gains? It's like pixels. You see pixels in this area get updated. And most of that is arrows that aren't really it just amazes me that, oh yeah, they capture this village of 1,000 people, and oh, Ukraine's falling, the lines are collapsing, blah 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 blah. No, it's minor gains, minor territorial losses, but they're making it out to be a huge story that, well, because bigger stories and pessimistic attitudes sell paper, sell news stories. Yeah, Ukraine's having a tough time. They're more likely losing ground here. They're losing ground here. Obviously losing ground here. But we don't know the background of this. Like, I can almost guarantee you most of this area here is a strategic retreat, because this area is not very defendable. So we knew once Volodar was lost that the lines would be moving deeper into Ukraine, just not how far. We don't know where the defense lines are set up. We don't know where Ukraine decided that they're going to try and make a stand. Are they just making Russia pay for this ground as much as they can before falling back? They don't. The newspapers don't report on that crap. They just report sensationalized headlines. And it's annoying. Hey there, Sally. Good to see you. Linesque. You have 35 kids? Oh, that out of context, that sounded really bad, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to say that, but you bought 70 kids but only got 35? That's a ripoff. You bought candy for 70 kids and only 35 have shown up. Okay. Oh. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Venezia started their air alert 6 minutes ago. Let's see. Switch accounts here. So 2 units in, two Shaheeds in Kiev region heading towards Zhytomyr. One in Chernihiv headed towards Kiev. The administration is offline. I'm guessing that means the channel. People do try to sleep. So I'm guessing there's a city that's named Potatoes in Ukrainian. So 2 units in Chernihiv, one piece in. So that's weird. So 2 units in Chernihiv Oblast fly to Potatoes. One piece in Chernihiv Oblast itself. One piece in Sumy, course towards Chernihiv. One piece on the border of Cherkasky and Poltava. These were a few hours ago, unfortunately. Go to monitor. Let's see if they have anything more current. So about an hour ago, explosion rang out in Kharkiv as a result of enemy strikes. Kinzil to Kharkiv. Kiev has one drone. Through the Kiev region, one UAV in the direction of Kiev from the west, returning to the Zhytomyr region. 2 UAVs in the direction of Klemensky, western course, through Zhytomyr Oblast. So yeah, every night, Shaheeds clouding the sky and keeping air raids going for 8 hours at a time. So yeah, this air alert started at 7:17 p.m. for Ukraine, and imagine just now an air alert starting and going for 8 hours while you're trying to get to sleep, put your kids to bed, get ready for tomorrow. It's just outrageously. Yeah, I'm out in the boonies, so I don't get kids. Our town holds a little thing at the park and gives out candy there. So if the kids really want good candy, they go into the bigger towns that are around me. So yeah, I don't get kids. Um. Anyways, I'm gonna say thank you all for coming. Thank you for spending some of your Halloween evening with me. I'll let you guys get back to it. Have a good night. Stay safe. And razum de peramojimo. What am I waiting for? Yeah, but 3 Mile Island is down south, and I'm sure they have some gators there with 15 feet. A pork chop. You know, the delay. It looks like you typed that in before I said it, but I said it before you typed it in. Um. Okay, since you guys don't want to go back to trick or treat, I'll leave it open just another minute for questions. If you guys have anything or anything you want me to look into while I'm live. Um. Prokosky. The ski is just an ending on a word when they're, it's a city of Prokrosk, but if you're talking about in the city, it's Prokroski. Um, yeah, but it's still south for us, Sally. Yeah, we're pretty far north, and it's gotten really cold here. So let's go monthly. Um, yeah, this is my weather forecast for the next couple days. We get below freezing tonight and tomorrow morning. Uh, November, we're right at freezing pretty much through the election. So we're in winter pretty much already. Looks like I won't get snow for my birthday, but it'll just be flipping cold for my birthday. While we're here, let's check Kiev weather. A little bit warmer. Um, they don't get as low as we get here until almost January or December. So let's check December for Kiev. So yeah, still not like the middle of the December. They stopped getting above freezing. Where for me, oh, wrong one. November. Okay, let's go December. Oh yeah, we're pretty much on par for not getting back above freezing, but we get a lot colder, and I'm sure LJ's is even colder. And just to satisfy those not in the United States, there you go. -16, -14s, -15s, 16s. And that doesn't account for the wind chill. Yeah, LJ, you would love winter because your hubby's the one that shovels the snow, isn't it? Or the kids. um, I don't know like what the winters are like where you're at, K-Bell, but the winters in Kiev are not that bad. Let's go monthly and December. -5s, -1s, but you're still getting above freezing on a lot of those days. January, okay, it got a little cold here, but I was there. February 14th is the day I got into Ukraine, into Kiev. Yes, I got into Kiev on Valentine's Day. And there was like 2 days of snow after the 14th, and it was gone the next day, if not the same day. Winter in Kiev is by far better than South Dakota. Oh yeah, Odessa. Not Odessa, Texas. Odessa Port, Ukraine. Again, these are in Celsius. So for November, they don't even get below freezing. December, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they get, a handful of days below freezing. Again, by February, it's very few and far between, and it starts warming back up. When you get into the mountains, all bets are off. So let's go to terrain. So yeah, you're pretty much a very mild winter along the southern part and along the Dnipro, because the Dnipro regulates a lot of the temperature around it. Poltava is pretty heavy snow. Kharkiv is pretty heavy. Even towards Zhytomyr and Klemensky, the snow gets a little bit heavier. But when you start getting into this area, yeah, all bets are off. What's another one we could look? Ravine. So yeah, there, even Ravine is, a couple days of negatives, couple at the end of November. December they're getting rain instead of snow. Yeah, so it fluctuates a little bit. -6, -7s. Not like here where it gets -17 before the wind chill. No. My city is about 800 miles further south than Kiev. So, Varna. So if, like, that's where my city would be at in relation to Kiev, is Varna. So yeah, yeah, Ukraine is much farther north, um, towards the North Pole than I am. But because the Black Sea, because the river, and like there's winds that come across the Sahara Desert and will come up this way, so that you get the heat from the desert coming up through there. So it's a lot better than here. For me in the winter, the winds come down. So we get that nice Canadian, after effect. Of course, with all the fires they're having over here by Calgary and Vancouver, we get all their smoke too. But, yeah, Ukraine is much farther north than the U.S. If you know Canada, Winnipeg and Lviv are on the same latitude. Oh, let's see if I could find that really quick. Put the air raid map up and see if I could find this image. Sorry for the dead air. I should remember to talk while I'm doing this, but I can't seem to find it right now. Ah, here we go. So this is latitudes lined up with Ukraine. And I'm like down here in South Dakota. So yeah, like Winnipeg's like right here, and it just kind of shows you, give size, basically the same size scale, and but latitude lined up over the U.S. Um, I lined it up on the U.S. Canadian border because it's supposedly a straight line, and just lined up the parallel or the latitude line. So puts it a little bit in perspective. So, oh, come on, escape out of that. It's also a difference in, oh, let's see if this does. No, it doesn't do the airflow sensor. Let's see. So, let me zoom in a little bit here. And yeah, you see the wind almost comes directly west to east in Ukraine this time of year. So it gets a little bit colder. But, you look at where I'm at, and yeah, we get the nice Canadian air coming down and going across. And same here, a nice little polar vortex forming right here in North Michigan. So it's just a different wind pattern. It keeps them from getting as cold as we do here in the northern Midwest. Last winter, right before I went to Ukraine, we had a negative 48 degrees and I had the pipes in my shower burst. See if I could pull this up. Oop, no, I don't want you guys to see that. Go full cam, and you see behind my head, this stuff right here. It's pegboard that I used to fill the hole behind my shower. We need to have a new air alert pop up. But yeah, that pegboard behind my head is where my shower is in my bathroom. So, and I was sitting there sleeping, had negative 48 and had water squirting out onto my bed and woke me up. That was a very cold wake up. Yeah, went right through the drywall and yeah, fun. Let's see, get the chat back up. So I'm gonna restart this and call it a night and let you guys get back to dealing with trick-or-treaters. Um, yeah, it didn't affect my trip because the plane tickets were already bought. The train was already bought. I had a room lined up already. My apartment was already lined up, and like I paid for my apartment for 1 month, and I just extended it for 2 more months and stayed in Kiev for the rest of my time there. Um, but yeah, it didn't affect me because everything was already paid for. But yeah, it was an interesting situation. Anyways, good night, everybody. Stay safe. Razom de Peramojimo, together to victory. And thank you for supporting Ukraine. Good night, everybody.